Hi, and welcome to today's reading. Today's reading is a collective reading. What I'm actually going to be doing over the next few readings is tapping into how I tap into my own intuition, using messages that I receive, synchronicities that I receive from my guides as a tool. Perhaps it's something that you are starting to do, something that you are starting to tap into. And I was speaking about this with my daughter yesterday. What is my role as a tarot reader? Why do I read tarot cards? For me, it's more about learning how to tap into my intuition. I'm a visual learner, so for me, it's the visual of tarot cards, which I actually find really fascinating. And my main drive at the moment, the thing that really gets me excited is discovering hidden synchronicities that are lying dormant, just waiting for you, like little puzzle pieces, waiting for you to find. So this is a collective reading. I don't know how many cards I'm going to pull. I had a couple of cards that came out already. But what I'm calling this reading is Messages from Apollo. Now, Apollo is the name of my dog. And in the last few days, I have been getting some really heavy messages around the number 21. Yesterday was the 21st of December. It was the Capricorn solstice. It was a huge Holy Trinity portal, a 777 portal, because 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm going to share with you today, it's going to be a shorter reading. I'm just going to share with you some of the messages that were coming through. And what I would say to you is, it's something that potentially you can tap into as well. We're looking at things that you don't control. Decisions that you make, that when you look back, you realize have an underlying spiritual meaning, and in this particular case it's in regards to pets. So as I said, my dog's name is Apollo. We named him once we found out the breeder that we chose has an extensive wait list, and they actually allocate the puppy to you. So you don't meet the puppy until that puppy is allocated to you. You don't know the dog's name, anything like that. You can choose to keep the name of the dog. You can choose to keep the name that the dog was given by the breeder when they were first born, or you can change the name. Now, we changed the name, and his name is Apollo. And as I said, we had no control in that litter as to which dog was ours, and we had no control over what the breeder originally named him. Now, the breeder, this is his little pet health record. The breeder named him, and there are many ways to pronounce his name, Dionysus. And I'll show you. He was born the 21st of the 7th, 21. Yesterday was the 21st. I was pulling through the energy of 21, the Holy Trinity. Lots of messages coming through yesterday and the day before about that. And then I found, just randomly, I was looking for something else, I found his little passport. 21, 7, 21. So 21 is 3 sevens, 7, 21. So 7 sevens in total, which is just beautiful, because this 7 synchronicity that's coming through all the time in my readings. Now, I've done a pre-shuffle. I got abundance. There is a spiritual significance, a spiritual abundance that you receive as part of the soul contract that you have with an existing pet, a pet that's passed away, or a pet that's still to come to you. And there are underlying messages in and around that little pet. A soul contract that you have with that animal in terms of how a lesson that you're meant to learn in this lifetime. If you think of the word dog, it's God backwards. And then we have the star, which is the number 17. It's also Aquarius. Destined. A pet that's destined to come into your life. So I'm actually going to remove this, and I'm going to pop these up here because I just want this to be a little short reading, and I'm going to pull through some of the messages that were coming through in and around the name and the meanings of the name of my dog, as a way of hopefully sending you down a rabbit hole in terms of potentially an animal that is in your life or has been in your life. But before I get started, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. A bit about me first. I'm an intuitive tarot reader, but I pick up on energy prior to a reading, and I then come and use my tarot and oracle decks to further clarify the message. Any messages that you receive are meant to find you. All of my readings are timeless. Some parts of the reading may resonate with you, other parts may not. Just take what resonates and leave the rest. Try not to make it fit. Use your discernment, use your intuition. As I said, the next couple of readings that I'm doing are more tools, intuitive tools, letting you in on how I pick things up. All of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs. As I said, I'm a visual learner. So part of my spiritual journey, my intuitive process, was to design a range of tarot cards. It's just the way my brain works, the visual of it. So when I pull the cards, because they are my own designs, because I'm an illustrator, I can pull in the thoughts, the feelings, the messages in and around why I designed a card a certain way. Part of a spiritual journey. Part of that symbology, those symbols, those synchronicities that then run through in readings as I pull them using the cards year in, year out. And the same applies with a pet. There's signs and symbols, synchronicities in something in and around an animal that you have, a tool that the divine uses as a guide. So these were the messages. As I said, my dog's name is Apollo. Now, Dionysus was the god of the Epiphany. He was also the god of wine, grapes and wine. And I almost think that perhaps he was sent to us, my great-grandfather, actually no, it was my great-great-grandfather, actually came from Germany to Australia, and we only found this out probably 2 years ago, as a vintner. And that blue butterfly is back in my garden. As a vintner from Germany. His surname was Jung, and they brought with them cuttings from the vines in Germany, part of a program by the Australian government to plant vineyards in Australia. And here I have this little dog that's the god of wine, and a name that we didn't choose and we weren't aware of. So we didn't say, oh, I like that name, I'll have that dog because it's called that. He came to us, the god of the Epiphany. Now Apollo, and this is where it gets interesting. There is an Australian swimmer who has a dog, a Groodle called Apollo, and my kids love that dog. I used to follow him on Instagram. I think he's called Apollo the Wonder Dog. And we got a Labradoodle. It's a similar sort of dog. A beautiful creamy white Labradoodle. And they called him Apollo. Apollo, as I said before, was born the 21st of the 7th, 21. He symbolizes healing and prophecy. So similar to Dionysus or Dionysus. His sacred number is 7. How funny is that? That he was born the 21st of the 7th, 21, all sevens, 7 sevens. And Apollo's sacred number is 7. His stone is sapphire. His symbols are the lyre and the bow and arrow. He's the god of archery, music and poetry. He invented the flute, and he's the god of the sun. His flower is hyacinth, created from blood and inscribed on petals the words of lamentation, al, alas. So I think of that Arvo Part song, Adam's Lament, which is about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and Adam reflecting. 2025 is the year of atonement. Adam reflecting on the original sin. Alas, what have I done? Apollo came to Ephesus. Now this is in the Bible. Obviously there's Greek mythology, and then there's biblical text around that name as well. Apollo came to Ephesus in 54 AD. He taught the Jews boldly in the synagogue. This is in Acts 18, 24 and 26. Though he accurately taught them about the coming of the Messiah, Apollo had not yet heard that the Messiah had come. Obviously, because they didn't have the internet. He's the god of healing and prophecy in Roman religion. And in Greek mythology, the raven was a messenger of Apollo and brought him a message that his partner had been unfaithful, so he turned all the ravens who were white at the time, he turned them all black. Now a raven is intuition. Now I've been to Ephesus and been to the Temple of Apollo back in 1997. The Oracle of Delphi prophesied in the Temple of Apollo in Ephesus. And I've said before, now I'm not saying I'm the Oracle of Delphi, but it just is hilarious because I've said before that the days when I clean my bathrooms, because I use shower cleaners and stuff like that, and I get in and I clean my showers, I get these massive, massive downloads. The Oracle of Delphi, in that particular region, had sulfur coming up through, they used to put them, these high priestesses, they used to put them in spaces where they would inhale the fumes, the sulfur, and they would have these prophetic visions. Apollo, the god of prophecy, Dionysus, the god of the Epiphany. And this is where it all kind of comes in. The date that is celebrated in Greek mythology of Apollo is the 7th of October. Now, if you've watched my readings, you will know that he generally sits beside me when I do readings. And I can't control him. That's what he does. He just comes and sits beside me. The 7th of October is actually my birthday. So this spiritual connection, abundance, this spiritual connection between me and my dog. And you will hear him coming in and out of readings. There's another reader I watch. She's got a cat that comes in and out of readings. And lots of synchronicities. You've currently got, or you will have some sort of pet in your life that will bring you spiritual abundance through the messages that they allow you to tap into. As I said, dog and God are the reverse. You're working, it's almost is it a symbiotic relationship that you have with this animal as part of a spiritual journey that you are on in this lifetime, a fated connection with this little animal to teach you a certain set of lessons. And I just thought that that was absolutely beautiful. And as I said to you, you know, these are just things that were coming through in relation to my pet. as a way of almost giving you a template to dig a little deeper into the messages that your pet is trying to give you. Now, the other thing that happened with my dog, I'd been walking him every morning, getting up really, really early and walking him. Please excuse the noise outside. But I had this guy that was following me and I didn't realise. I hadn't put two and two together. Because I used to go for my walks and I'd put my AirPods in. Maybe a message for somebody in that. I'd put my AirPods in and we'd go the same walk every morning. And you kind of see the same people. Well, there's one particular person that I used to see, this man with his two dogs. And then some things happened and I started to kind of get a funny feeling that he wasn't just this man walking his dogs at the same time as me. And at about 1:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, I think it was, my dog who sleeps in a crate, who can't see out onto the front of my street at all. He's at the other end of the house. And then 3 years that we've had him, and actually that's funny because dogs, 7 years is 1 year for a dog. So he's 21. Another synchronicity. In the 3 years that we've had him, he's never, aside from when he was a puppy, he's never woken up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet. He's very well trained in terms of his crate. And I heard him scratching on the cage. So I took him out, put him on the lead and took him out onto our front lawn, the front of our house, to take him for a wee. And lo and behold, this man was standing in front of my house. My little dog intuitively knew or was guided to alert me to the fact that this guy was more than just a man walking his dog. There are messages in animals. Okay, let's pull some cards. I don't want to make this a very, very long reading. I just want to pull some cards on it, just to get anything else. Divine Warrior and Protection, 71. That's the 10 of Cups. Spiritual abundance. The connection that you have with your pet is meant to bring you spiritual abundance. It's meant to connect you with your intuition, but you need to look deeper. And on the bottom, number 30, Omayal, heals depression and impatience. That's the Ace of Wands. Okay, a message from your guides about your pet. Divine counterpart. It's a special union that you have with this little animal. Well, it could be a big animal, could be a bird, could be a fish, could be anything. Well, you wouldn't really know when a fish was born, would you? I suppose it's just larger animals. And actually a giraffe was coming through. When I did my coffee this morning, I got a giraffe in a giraffe's head. What's the symbolism of a giraffe? Independence, abundance. They stick their head out. They are majestic creatures. They are calm. If I think about a dog, loyalty, a giraffe is willing to stick its neck out. And they've got those big, beautiful eyelashes, don't they? Big boogly eyes and big, beautiful eyelashes and a big, long tongue. Okay, let's get... I'm just going to get 3 cards, I think. Anything else you can tell us about these little pets that are in our life? The Emperor. How cute is that? That's Aries, Mars energy. Maybe your pet rules the roost. And that beautiful butterfly He's only been in the last couple of days. It's a blue butterfly. And he's buzzing around a magnolia tree that I have in the backyard, which is full of bees. I wonder what the spiritual significance of a magnolia tree is. Oh, there's a card there. Look at that. Lovers. Now, the Lovers card, under Divine Counterpart, the Lovers card is a spiritual connection that you have with somebody. In this instance, it's a pet. A soul contract that you have with this little animal. Gemini, Mercury. That's gorgeous. And look, because we had God and dog are the reverse. We've got IV and VI. And look, that's 17. This is beautiful. 17 and 71. It's the reverse. Another 7. That's the moon in Libra. No, it's not. Why did I say that? That's the moon in Aquarius. The 7 of Swords. And the 3 of Wands. The Sun in Aries. And I can hear him. He's outside. He's tapping on the floor. And I read something the other day, because that's about departure, that a dog, and I'm just referencing dogs here, that a dog is part of your life for a certain period in your life. They are with you for a period in your life. But you are with your pet for their whole life. And if you look at those 2 swords, the Lovers card, Divine Counterpart, they leave a hole when they depart. They leave a permanent hole in your heart. That card often depicts a soldier walking away from a battle, and he leaves 2 swords standing, but he takes 5 swords away. Almost removes the swords of the enemy. But in this instance, it's that pet can have left, but they will always be anchored in your heart. And on the bottom, the King of Wands. How funny is that? That we have a card, a little chameleon. That's the Sun in Aries. Which is the same here. The Sun in Aries. And we've got the wand here, which is Aaron's rod in the Bible. It was put into the Ark of the Covenant. And I actually only found out yesterday that it was only in there for 24 hours. And when they opened it up, it had multiple years of growth. These little almond sprouts. Now, almonds are fertility, new life. It's this spiritual abundance. Sorry, I didn't mean to give you the finger. It's this spiritual abundance that you get. These little spiritual buds of insight, of intuition that grow through your connection with this pet. How beautiful is that? Okay, let's get some more. Let's do the Emperor on the bottom. Ace of Cups, spiritual connection. A spiritual connection with your pet. The Hermit, which is the dark night of the soul. If you've had a pet pass away, It can also be, so that is the wounded healer, the wounded healer, Chiron and Virgo. Virgo is a very practical energy. When I think about Virgo as a placement, it is lists and tasks and very ordered and methodical, which is what you have to be if you've got a pet. Maybe for you, getting a pet teaches that spiritual lesson of getting your shit together, basically. Having somebody, maybe you get a pet before you get a partner, as part of a spiritual lesson that you have to learn. You can't bring in a partner and then bring in a family if you can't even feed a dog or a cat. You can't take care of anybody else. How can you take care of a family? The Hermit, a dark night of the soul, potentially, when a pet passes away. Or as part of a spiritual journey that you're on. Yeah. The Devil upside down. I want to say that's releasing toxicity. The Devil is Capricorn, which is Saturn, which is karmic lessons. Karmic lessons that you have to learn through this pet, through this animal. The other thing that could be is an animal. You think of an animal as, a dog is loyal. If you've got people in and around you that are really, really toxic, coming home to an animal is very, very peaceful. Even just sitting, I was playing with my dog this morning before I did this reading, just throwing him the ball and mucking around with him. And that real sense of that endorphin rush that you get just from, stroking a cat or petting a dog. The Lovers. The Four of Swords, healing. The Four of Swords is Jupiter in Libra. But seriously, go and have a look. The Five of Cups. Wow. Certainly healing some sort of heartache. So we've got Saturn, the dark night of the soul, Saturn. The Four of Swords, which is almost purgatory. And the Five of Cups, which is Mars in Scorpio. Scorpio's death and rebirth. Maybe you've had a pet pass away. What have we got here? The Page of Swords. The Sun in Gemini. Gemini. And what else? Oh, that came out fast. And the Knight of Cups. Death and rebirth. That's the Moon in Scorpio. And on the bottom, the Page of Wands. Saturn and Sagittarius. Now, I did say to you, Apollo is the archer. And I don't know if you can hear that bird, and I don't know what it is. I think it is a magpie. But that bird, as a child, that bird would make that call every morning when we stayed at my grandmother's house at Christmas time. It's a bird that reminds me of Christmas and reminds me of my grandmother. Even just getting out, if you've got a dog, even just getting out and going for a walk with your dog. And that's what I would do. As I said before, I would go out really, really early in the morning. He tends to, even though he's very exuberant and boisterous, he's quite frightened of other dogs. So he's a bit reactive. It doesn't bite or anything like that. He just barks. And so I would go very early in the morning, sort of as the sun was coming up, so that I could see the sunrise, kind of get a bit of a spiritual hit to the beginning of my day. But I'd have my music playing on random shuffle, or I'd have a reading, one of the readers that I listen to, I'd have that playing. And I'd get all these downloads when we were walking. Mainly connecting with birds when we were walking. Lots of messages in birds when we were walking. Bird. There are birds there. Interesting. Okay, let's get new moon vibes in Aquarius are swooping in, birds, to sprinkle a little of magic into the mix. Maybe you need to take your pet for a walk or just sit out in the garden. Full moon in Cancer, you and your crew are wrapped in a magical cosmic shield. 7 is Cancer. And the full moon in Pisces is here. Time to shake things up. Okay, what lesson are you learning with your pet? Let's have a look. Let's see if there's anything. I know my pet helped me trust my intuition. Look at that. North Node in Pisces. Now that happens in January. The middle of January, the 12th or 13th of January is when the nodes change. The nodes sit in a sign for 18 months. They're about to go into Pisces, which is beautiful, dreamy energy. Pisces is spirituality. Pisces, spirituality. Gaining insight into the connections that you have with the animals that you have around you. Pisces North nodes add a dash of caring energy and gut feelings. That's intuition. To the galactic gathering, imagine your North node as a mystical map guiding you to where you can boost your skills, unveiling hidden lessons in animals. If you're feeling all over the place with tasks, it might just be the universe whispering for you to unleash your creative wizardry. And I'd say that that is within an alignment that you have, a spiritual alignment that you have with a pet that's in your life. Maybe this is a sign, if you've been thinking about getting a pet, to bring a pet in. And just, if you're choosing a name, intuitively choose the name. Find out what that pet, what they were registered with, what name they were registered with. There may be a meaning in that. It's all these beautiful hidden lessons, hidden synchronicities that are hidden within this relationship that you have with a pet. But they're not things that you create yourself. They're things that actually are there for you to discover. Let's get a song. Now, I did get, actually, before I give you the song, I did have my songs on random shuffle. That's how I receive messages through music. Just put your playlist on a random shuffle, set an intention, ask a question, and see what songs come through. What I got was De Ore Leonis, which is the monks of the Abbey of Notre Dame, which is Gregorian chants, which is what I use to clear the energy prior to a reading. Now that is about From the Lion's Mouth. Meaning a lion is an animal. What messages is your pet? What messages are your pet? No, what messages, what? What messages is your pet trying to tell you? I had it right the first time. My brain's a little foggy today. And then I got Stay With Me by Sam Smith, which tells me about... unforgettable on the bottom, a pet that will never leave your heart. I want to read the lines of those songs. Unforgettable in every way and forevermore, that's how you'll stay. I want to cry. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. That's loyalty. A pet is so loyal. They teach us so many lessons. I can't watch at the moment, probably for the last 6 months, anytime you get things coming up in your feed about animals that, and they're feeding them chocolate because it's the last, obviously chocolate is toxic for dogs, but they're allowing them to have a little bit of chocolate because there's something wrong and they're going to the vet to be put down. Makes me want to cry. Okay, let's have a look if there is a song. Now, I did say I got Sam Smith, Stay With Me, wanting that pet to stay a little bit longer with you. But they go when the lessons that you need. Oh. I had to pause for a minute there because that song, the first time I ever saw your face, for me, it's the eyes of a little dog. And I'm going to show you a photo of the first time we met our dog, which is that. And just big tears in my eyes. Look. Now, it's a big whopping glump now. So many lessons that I have learned through this little animal. The first time ever I saw your face. That is just gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to pull, I'm not going to pull some cards. I'm going to get you some Scrabble tiles. This could be messages from the man upstairs about your little pet living or passed away. It does make a little bit of noise when I shake it, so if you're hearing sensitive, just turn your volume down. I'm going to shake it in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Maybe you're looking at getting a new pet. The first time ever I saw your face. A W and a 4, an I and a 1. Why did I just hear WikiLeaks? Julian Assange. A J, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks. A Q and a 10, a V and a 4, an R, virtual reality, a K and a 5, an E and a 1, a C and a 3, an F, cystic fibrosis. Do dogs get cystic? I don't know. A P and a 3, a Z and a 10, and finally a B and a 3. Now I'm just going to get you 3 final cards. See if there's anything else that we can get. A Knight of Cups. That's a big full cup of love that you have for this pet. The Chariot, another 7. Set of lessons. A set of lessons that this little animal, that maybe you thought, I want to say here, this big cup of love, that's death and rebirth. That maybe you don't realize death and rebirth. The Magician is an illusionist. Maybe you don't realize you get this beautiful little puppy. And what do we want to open on? The 5 of Swords, which is Venus in Aquarius. Maybe you get this beautiful little puppy thinking one thing, thinking that it's going to be one thing. And by the time that little pet, I keep saying puppy, by the time that little pet, that soul contract that you have with that little pet ends, you recognize the spiritual connection of that animal and the incredible lessons that you've learned from it. The spiritual abundance that that connection has given to you. Yeah, look at that, the 3 of Swords. That's Mercury in Cancer. Mercury is communication. Cancer is what you nurture. You realize that that connection with that animal was so much more than what you initially anticipated that it would be. What wants to come out there? The King of Wands again. That's a beautiful reading. So as I said, I'm going to be doing more of these readings, just pulling in on energies that I am picking up on in terms of synchronicities within my own life, as part of maybe a series of readings that I'm going to do. Now this will be titled Messages from Apollo. A series of readings that I want to do, just tapping into the way that I connect with my own intuition, because I think as the North Node goes into Pisces next year in January, which is literally only 2 weeks away, I think we're the 22nd of December today. And I think the 21st of December, the Holy Trinity, 3 sevens. Connection between God, you and your pet, 3. To be taught a set of karmic lessons through this beautiful soul contract that you have with this animal. But yeah, as we go into the North Node changing into Pisces, literally, collectively, the world is waking up. The world is getting in touch with their spirituality, getting in touch with the spiritual messages, meanings that are hidden in and around the life that you lead. So these are series of readings that I'm going to do. Perhaps it's just a way of sharing how I tap in, and maybe it allows you to start digging deeper, start looking for those hidden messages. The first time I saw your face, oh my God, literally, you will, when this video comes out, probably I'll edit it. It might be like 4 or 5 seconds of pause, but it was literally 5 minutes. I couldn't talk for 5 minutes. I just had these big tears running down my throat. And you know when you get that aching feeling almost in the roof of your mouth. I often get it at a funeral, actually, where you're almost trying to hold back the tears and hold back. What's under there? Bee. A web. The little web of love. The little web of love that your pet weaves. That starts with the first time you see their face. That's so cute. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave it. If this reading resonated with you, give it a like. If you started to tap into some synchronicities, some little messages, hidden messages about your pet, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear. I love that kind of stuff. I'm really, really fascinated by hidden synchronicities. So please share. You're more than welcome to. If this reading resonated with you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you are called to any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. Thanks for joining me. Give your pet a big hug or blow them a kiss if they're no longer with you. Thank them for the lessons that they taught you, and I will see you again in another reading.